into it, Joe.
Yeah, let's go.
And let's talk first about, there you are, the Baltimore Ravens, Joe.
Right. Yeah, Baltimore Ravens. And this is the thing, too, is there's a couple of different changes with the Ravens. They still have a star-studded roster, like they're very physical football team. They always have a really good defense, very solid, doesn't really make that many mistakes. Offensively, we all know them as this run-heavy offense with Lamar Jackson leading the charge there. A few tweaks of this team. One, you got the D coordinator. No more Mike McDonald. He's gone. He's in Seattle now. So Zach Orr is going to replace him. Now, Zach Orr, former linebacker of the Ravens, I assume and can anticipate that he is going to be just as aggressive as Mike, because that's what he was brought up into be. You know what I mean? So I don't suspect the defense changing that much in terms of play calling or being passive versus aggressive. I think they're still going to come after you. So that's one thing. The next thing here is, and the biggest one is, their huge free agent signing at running back with Derrick Henry. This is like a match made in heaven here. You know, Derrick Henry, a very bruising running back, a guy who's done it, you know, his whole career. He is 30 years old now. So it's going to be interesting to see him transcend onto a new team that loves to run the football. And it's going to be uncanny to watch Derrick Henry in the backfield and Lamar Jackson, who can run himself. We all know that very well. Who are you going after? Who are you going to pursue? Because you can't do both at the same time. It's going to be very difficult. So look for this team to utilize that, where they're going to sometimes hand it off to Henry. Sometimes Lamar keeps it. And people were kind of getting concerned with, and I know this happens to every team, every offseason. You may lose some free agents or whatnot, and you're like, oh, well, how are we going to replace it? This is one of the few organizations that do it extremely well. Somehow they find a way to get young talent, whether it be a free agent signing after the draft or during the draft, someone that they spotted later on, and they grab them. They're going to develop them and groom them. And that's what they've done yet again this year. There were some concerns about their offensive line. Are they going to add some holes? They drafted Roger Rosengartner, who I think is going to be an excellent rookie coming in. Now, he's penciled in as a starter right now over who I felt was going to be the starter in Daniel Falele. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be an interesting training camp battle to watch for the Ravens flock out there. Other than that, like, you look at a very solid offensive line across the board. Andrew Voorhees going to get his first start coming up. And then the receivers, like, they always had an issue with having enough receivers. Well, they have receivers now. I'm just wondering, how much are they going to utilize them this year? Mm-hmm. Because Rashad Bateman coming back from an injury, he looks great in camp from what everybody says out of Baltimore. They're saying, like, he looks like a completely different wide receiver. And then you couple him with Zay Flowers and then a young rookie who will be up and coming. I'm curious to see how they utilize him this season in Devontae Walker. And then I got to mention this guy. Everybody remember Malik Cunningham, the former quarterback mm-hmm. for the Patriots? Mm-hmm. He's on the Ravens roster, and not as a quarterback, but he's converted to wide receiver now. So using his athletic talents, he's decided to shift gears here and try out wide receiver. So that'll be interesting to watch too, to see if he even makes the team, let alone. But everybody knows Lamar Jackson and how good he's going to be. Like, he's a gifted athlete. And then their defense, like I said before, always solid, never any real glaring holes. And when you think they do have it, they replace them with younger talent. They drafted this year Nate Wiggins, a shutdown corner right out of the gate from Clemson. He just needs to build his body type up. He needs to get a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger so he can kind of get involved in tackling the running back a little bit more, not get pushed out of the way. So I'm curious to see over this short period of time in training camp, how much muscle he can pack on. How much more aggressive is he going to play at the next level? Because physicality is a must. And I'm curious to see how he develops going forward. But other than that, like, this whole roster up and down is very solid. They got a lot of returning vets. They got a lot of young up and coming ballers. And I can't wait to see what Baltimore can do this year.
Yeah, I mean, again, not much to say after that, but this team, they're just going to continue to do what they're doing. Yeah. They're going to make the playoffs, go deep. And this is where you're going to have to watch this season, though, because now we've already seen Lamar Jackson get paid and things like that. You know, he's standing out to be the MVP multiple years. He's, you know, not exactly your typical type of quarterback, you know. So I think now he is going to get a lot of attention this season in the playoffs. So when he gets there, he needs to win, I think, because again, once he's there, I think a lot of people are going to start to question him because now he, like I said, he's played very well. He's a different type of quarterback. He's multiple MVP. He has gotten paid. So now everybody's going to start talking about legacy and things like that, or where he is with your Patrick Mahomes and your Josh Allens and these other guys, to where, all right, son, now you got to get paid here. Now you got to win, because we started to hear a little bit of it last year, a little chirping and things like that. Now I think the focus is going to be really on him now that you've even got some more weapons here too on your roster, and you're expected to win. I really liked what Zay Flowers was doing last year too. I think he's going to continue to do what he was last year on top of it.
I hope he's a little bit more involved than last year.
Yeah. I think you started to see it more in the playoffs. I think in the playoffs, he really started to become a part of this here. And I think they could have utilized him more. But the addition of Derrick Henry again, I mean, what a nice pickup here and where you're not even now for Derrick Henry. Now I think that alleviates some of the pressure that's on you, even to be like that guy. When you're in Tennessee and you were the guy and everything, the whole offense pretty much revolved around what you did. We said it before with Tennessee, that the way their style was, that he was their star, that they had to run it a lot. So when you get down in games, it's kind of hard to get back into it, because that was your deal, your running game, and that's how you did it. Baltimore built the same way, but Baltimore is able to do it, though.
They are the same way.
They are, but they still were able to do it with Lamar Jackson making plays with his legs and then getting into an open receiver, in the same play, where it's a broken play or not. So I think adding, Derrick Henry to this offense, I think that makes it a lot more electrifying here, and I can't wait to watch it this season.
Yeah, definitely going to be more physical. They're still going to continue to run the ball like Tennessee did, and even that was the whole game plan with Tennessee with Derrick Henry. Is like, yeah, he was the star. Yeah, he is the go-to guy. They're going to utilize him, and they play off the run just like Baltimore does. I'm hoping that we see a little bit more evolved offense in Baltimore this season, where they don't go so crazy run heavy and kind of, they still can be run heavy, but also kind of just throw in little pass here, little pass there, and kind of keep the defense on their heels. So I'm hoping to see a more aggressive play calling as far as passing goes this season. I want to see Lamar kind of shine a little bit more as a quarterback, and not just a guy who's threatened with the ball in his hands. Right.
And I think that's what, again, I think there's going to be a spotlight on that, where I think everybody wants to see that at this point.
One other thing that I will mention too is that TJ Tampa, they got in the 4th round, a rookie corner who I absolutely loved coming out. I definitely could see that as another really big camp battle between him and Brandon Stevens. So look for that to happen too. But other than that, like, this is one of the best teams in football right now.
Right.
They're so physical, and they play a brand of football that not a lot of teams like to play. Kansas City Chiefs had problems with Baltimore in the playoffs, and it was because of their physical nature and how they attacked them. They didn't have an answer for. And you're going to look at, some teams are going to try to mimic it. There's some teams, when they play teams like the Chiefs, they're going to try to mimic that physicality, but they just can't match it because they're not ready for that. So Baltimore is going to be one of those premier teams for sure.
Right. Late addition last year. We want to trade Roquan Smith. I think it was a great addition. Now you get to see him in a full season with them. I think that's going to be great.
Last season was impressive.
I know.
Like, it wasn't even.
I mean, it's just when that happened, it was just scary, man.
And obviously they have other younger guys to watch out. Trenton Simpson's another guy from 2 years ago in 23 got drafted. Now he's penciled to start. So there's got to be a lot of optimism and excitement amongst the Ravens flock to check out some of these young up and coming players.
All right. We've got Back to the Stone Age with us.
What's going on, Stone Age?
He says, yo, Blitz Bros, is my man Mark Andrews coming back 100%, or will he have a reduced role?
No, he's going to have the same role he always has, much like Kansas City does with Travis Kelce. He's the guy. Like Mark is going to be the guy. That's Lamar Jackson's favorite target. So he's going to get his catches. He's going to get his yards. He's going to get his touchdowns. He's going to have yet another really good year. Now, the bigger picture is, can Mark stay healthy all season? Because that's been the knock on him, is that he routinely gets injured, and it takes away from what he could do to help this team go further. So this year, very important for him to, stick with his diet, stick with working out, stick with practice, and maintain that health all the way throughout the year.
Hey everybody, this is Big John from Grumblings Media, and I just want to say thank you for watching our content. If you want to support our efforts here at Grumblings Media, just smash the subscribe button right here, totally free, or just go ahead and consume more of our great content. Click either one of these two boxes.